Behavior is fueled by positive feedback. If the consequences for a certain action are light enough, or if the reception is greeted with praise and reassurance, this action is very likely to continue. Once the pattern of creation, consumption, and positive reception has been established, it's almost impossible to stop it. Only by overwhelming opposition will the power of this cycle be broken. This concept can be extrapolated to almost any action, behavior, service, or product. Ubisoft is no different. They saw the joy the time period of Renaissance Italy gave players. They saw the love of the gameplay Assassin's Creed 2 provided. And, most importantly, they saw the critical acclaim their main character, Ezio, had received. They created a game that contained an exciting locale, more dynamic game design, and a young, charismatic character. Witnessed these creations being consumed all over the industry, and were gifted with the overwhelming positive reception these elements received. As a result, Ubisoft decided to continue with these creations for even more consumption. Players wanted more of Italy, more of the fun gameplay, and more of the new assassin they were introduced to. Did Ubisoft succeed? Let's see. In an effort to maintain consistency with my lookbacks, I will not be touching on the development of this game. I will also not be discussing any technical issues at the time of its release. My lookbacks are story and gameplay critiques only. I find this to be the best way for my audiences to receive the purest experiences with these games. As with Assassin's Creed 2, there are many names that are difficult to pronounce or remember, so I'm going to try my hardest to find a way my viewers can also remember them by putting up pictures of each character mentioned. I'll be going through the story, discussing that story, then examining the gameplay. The year is 1499, and this story picks up right where we left off in Assassin's Creed 2. Ezio, having learned from Altair's Codex pages that the Vatican houses a secret vault that can only be opened with the combined power of the Papal Staff of Eden and the Apple of Eden, races to take out Rodrigo Borgia before he can do more harm with the staff. This vault is important to both the Assassins and Templars due to the idea that a prophet will be able to communicate with the Isu once inside. Rodrigo falsely believed that he was this prophet, and after disarming Ezio of the Apple, attempts to get inside. The vault does not open, however, and Ezio was able to stop the Pope from achieving his plan. Instead, Ezio learns that he himself is this prophet and gains entry into the secret room. Upon entry, Ezio encounters one of the Isu, who proceeds to use him to communicate with Desmond, who is reliving Ezio's memories in the current time period. This sequence of events explains what the prophet's role was to us, a vessel through which the Isu can communicate to Desmond, even though Ezio is left extremely confused and perplexed. After hearing the message, Ezio exits the vault and finds that the Pope had escaped. He tries to retrieve the papal staff, but it is locked in place and is dropped below the floor, never to be seen again. Mario arrives on the scene and urges Ezio to escape the area, as his nephew's actions to get inside the church moments earlier had been conspicuous, to say the least, and guards were inevitably on their way to deal with the intruder. They fight their way through the security and escape the area. Ezio hands the apple over to Mario and they make their way back to Monteriggioni.
This decision is yours alone to make. Only do so quickly. Give it to me. You can do with it as you will. Bene. Jump!
Caterina is visiting the fortress and begins to discuss with Ezio the possibility of an alliance between Monteriggioni and Forli, as her city had been weakened by the mercenary attack under the direction of Rodrigo in the last game. Ezio tells her they will continue the conversation after he discusses with Machiavelli and his family what had transpired in the Sistine Chapel.
Machiavelli. It is done. Though not, I think, as any of us expected. I entered the Vaticano and faced Rodrigo.
No!
He used the power of the papal staff against me, but I defeated him. Combining the staff and the apple, I gained access to the vault. There, a moving painting of the goddess Minerva spoke. She told of a terrible tragedy to befall mankind in the future, but gave hope of lost temples that will provide aid to humanity. And then she called out to a phantom, Desmond, as if he were there, standing beside me. After her warning, she vanished.
Amazing.
I cannot imagine such wonders.
The vault did not house the terrible weapon we feared. This is good news.
What of this goddess, this Minerva? Did she appear human?
Yes, but her words proved otherwise. All of her kind died many years ago. I wish I could show you the magic she performed.
Who is Desmond, and where are these temples Minerva spoke of?
I do not know.
Perhaps we must search for them.
Tell me how it ended with Borgia. Did Rodrigo beg forgiveness? Make excuses? Promise power in return?
No, none of those things.
Interesting. I'm surprised he remained so composed.
I let him leave.
The Spaniard lives?
Machiavelli inquires about how Rodrigo had met his end, but is visibly disdainful of Ezio's decision after learning that the Templar Grand Master had indeed not been killed. In quiet anger, Machiavelli leaves for Rome. Mario assures Ezio that not only does he trust his judgment on the choice to leave the Pope with his life, but also that Machiavelli will change his mind in time. Caterina solidifies the alliance between her city Forli and Monteriggioni by solidifying Ezio when the fortress suddenly comes under attack by a hostile force. Mario links up with his nephew and informs him that the House of Borgia is leading the attack. Borgia is, of course, the family house of Rodrigo, the still alive Templar Grand Master. They agree to hold off the attackers while the townspeople escape through the rear of the fortress before they are completely enveloped. Ezio, before heading to his post, verifies that Mario still holds the apple, and Mario makes the decision to attack the Borgia head-on. After some time, the attack stalls, and through the city's front gates walks Cesare Borgia, the son of the Pope, alongside his sister Lucrezia.
I know you're there, Ezio! The Pope told me about you and your little group of assassins. And this! Give me the gun his friend fashioned for us! We've had too much bloodshed. I think the cleansing is in order. So consider this an invitation from my family to yours!
Cesare shows that he holds the apple now and executes Mario in front of Ezio. After holding for a little longer, Ezio, his mother, his sister, and a few remaining mercenaries retreat through a basement tunnel inside the main villa.
Let me through! I must go help the troops!
Ezio rides for Rome to link up with Machiavelli to discuss next steps. When there, he witnesses that not only has the Borgia family taken over the city after the events of the second game, but that Rome itself has more or less been decaying under its leadership. On the way to the Mentor, Ezio decides to help some Borgia victims by taking out a local Borgia leader, or Carnefice.
Requiescat in pace.
After doing so, Ezio finally converses with Machiavelli. Although the mentor believes Ezio was to return to Florence to further watch over his family, Ezio instead chooses to stay in Rome, where he intends to dismantle the Borgia's family grip on the city, piece by piece. Machiavelli explains to Ezio the situation the assassin is going to immerse himself in, stating that not only is Rodrigo still in control over the city and the church, but his children are also big players in the region. Cesare, his son, is head of the papal armies, and Lucrezia, his daughter, acts as the political head of state. In addition, Machiavelli asserts that even one of France's field generals, Octavian, is under his sway, and provides military aid to the Templars in order to assist the Brotherhood in retaining their influence. This idea is sound, as Ezio's assassinations in the years prior have proven quite devastating to the rival order. Ezio continues to follow the mentor throughout the city as they link up with several informants in the area, one of which has come under attack by Borgia guards after stealing a letter intended for the Pope. Ezio chases a courier who has stolen back the letter and discloses the location of a band of outlaws known as the followers of Romulus. Ezio enters the strange compound to investigate. After emerging from the compound, Machiavelli discusses the group, his suspicions about it, and finally asks for the letter Ezio had retrieved. The letter, unfortunately, is encrypted, and they leave to group up with supposed allies within the assassin's main base of operations in the city. Ezio meets Fabio Orsini, the cousin of Bartolomeo. Fabio is a member of the Papal Guard and wishes to one day be rid of his general, Cesare, with time. Although he and his men are under the command of Rodrigo's son, he pledges his loyalty and friendship to the assassins. Ezio and Machiavelli discuss the next course of action they must take to end Templar control in the city. Although the Grand Mentor wishes to make moves against them now, Ezio counters his logic with the realizations that not only has Caterina been captured by the Borgia, the apple been taken by Cesare, but the assassins as a whole do not hold many meaningful relationships with any significant allies in the region. Ezio decides to change this by establishing connections around Rome.
Ezio Auditore! Come in! I'll kill you if you don't.
He first visits Bartolomeo, whose forces have been fighting a small war with the papal army since Ezio's assassination attempt on Rodrigo some time ago. Although they seem to have too much to handle already, Bartolomeo believes his assistance in assassin operations can also assist his military situation, and vice versa. With this understanding between both men, Ezio moves on to establish a relationship with the courtesans in the city. After learning the owner of several brothels have been killed by Templars, Ezio purchases the businesses and reluctantly passes ownership to his sister, Claudia, who promises to further the assassin cause while running operations there. Ezio searches for and finds La Volpe, the leader of the Thieves Guild in the city, and discusses the current situation. Ezio is dumbfounded to learn that La Volpe has grown distrustful and unsettled toward their own grand mentor, Machiavelli. He cites multiple occurrences of Machiavelli's actions being suspicious and, after learning from one of his informants that Machiavelli is moving to converse with one of his informants, urges Ezio to tail the mentor to acquire more information. Ezio, although adamant in his trust in his leader and ally, decides to tag along and see the interaction for himself. They witness a Borgia guard handing over a note to Machiavelli, who then leaves the area before Ezio and La Volpe ambush and kill the remaining Borgia outfit. After the altercation, La Volpe, despite witnessing the events prior, chooses to trust Ezio's intuition that Machiavelli is indeed still on their side. La Volpe pledges his and his thieves' support in dismantling the Templar influence in the city. Before splitting up, La Volpe informs Ezio that his thieves have already begun searching for the apple. Ezio begins work on decreasing the Borgia's power in Rome by destroying faction buildings erected all across the area, and after some initial progress, meets up with the rest of the assassin members in their hideout to discuss next steps.
What have you discovered?
That bastardo Cesare is in the Castel Sant'Angelo with the Pope.
My spies tell me that the apple has been secreted to someone for study. I am working on determining his identity.
Caterina will be moved to the prison within the Castello next week.
Bene. So the Castello it is. Roma will heal quickly with Cesare and Rodrigo gone.
Only if the opportunity to assassinate them arises will I take it.
Do not repeat your mistake in the vault. You must kill them now.
I'm with Machiavelli, Ezio. We should not wait.
Bartolomeo is right.
They must pay for Mario's death.
Do not worry. They will die. You have my word.
1501, Ezio travels to the Castel Sant'Angelo, the Borgia headquarters, where he intends to put an end to the leadership by assassinating both Rodrigo and Cesare. Before entering the compound, Ezio witnesses Caterina being brought in as a prisoner. Machiavelli reminds him that she is not his mission, and Ezio moves in on the castle. While traversing the stronghold, Ezio overhears Lucrezia and Cesare conversing.
Cesare!
Lucrezia... I hope you have treated our guest with kindness.
I've got the mouth on her. How I'd love to sew it shut.
I rather like it open myself.
Oh.
Have you talked to the Pope about the funds requested by my banker?
He is away from the Castello, and he might need some convincing when he returns.
That shouldn't be a problem, should it?
No. Only it gets quite lonely here. You and I spend so little time together these days, busy as you are with your other conquests.
Soon, once I have secured the throne of Italia,
You are going to be my queen, and your loneliness will be a thing of the past.
I cannot wait.
behave yourself while I am gone.
Ezio now knows three things. Lucrezia and Cesare are sibling lovers, Rodrigo is away from the city, and Cesare intends on taking the throne of Italy after defeating his enemies. While Ezio continues to navigate through the compound, Cesare departs, and Ezio chooses to alter his mission to save Caterina instead of pursuing the papal army general. The assassin intercepts Lucrezia, who is currently having an affair with Pietro Rossi, a stage performer in the city, and steals the prison key to rescue the fourthly countess, but decides to spare her life, as although she is in league with both her father and brother, she does not seem to be furthering the interests of the Templars as a whole. Caterina is brought back to the assassin compound, and Machiavelli learns of Ezio's failure to bring Rodrigo and Cesare down.
What of Cesare and Rodrigo?
Cesare rode off before I could get close to him, and Rodrigo was somewhere else entirely.
That is odd. Rodrigo is usually at the Castello.
Very odd indeed.
What a waste. No offense.
Machiavelli urges Ezio to pursue the two Templars, but Ezio again rebuffs him, stating that they need to create a significant presence in Rome by recruiting victims of the Borgias to the assassins.
To win this war, Machiavelli, we need loyal soldiers. By recruiting enemies of the state, we arm those who have been disarmed by the Borgia.
Go then. Recruit our first novices.
Ezio does this for some time, and recruits a sizable number of citizens into the Brotherhood in an effort to grow the order into a larger force in the city. Ezio runs into Leonardo, and learns that he has been forced by Cesare to develop advanced weapons and arms for the Borgia armies under threat of death. Leonardo urges Ezio to begin dismantling these weapons across Italy, and Ezio tells him he will do as much as he can while he continues to grow the Brotherhood in Rome. Meeting back up with the Order, La Volpe, Machiavelli, Ezio, and Claudia scheme to take out Cesare with a two-front plan of attack. One front deals with cutting off Cesare's financial assets so he can no longer fund his military. The other deals with assassinating his followers, as many of them are commanders within his armies. Once these two ideas have been fully implemented, they believe, the Borgia's influence in the region will be gone. The financial front consists of finding out who provides Cesare with his money to begin with. La Volpe's thieves have been investigating this issue for some time, and he informs Ezio that this money comes from a man so callously referred to as the banker. Claudia informs Ezio that a senator who frequents her brothel owes money to someone with the same alias, and our assassin states he will follow up on that lead. In the meantime, Ezio desires to assassinate the French general, Octavian, so that Cesare's French allies will become disorganized and, in turn, relieve Bartolomeo's forces that are holding him off at the moment. Caterina departs Rome in order to return to Fourthly and await its reclamation, disappointing Ezio, but he accepts after some thought, realizing that if many pieces of the board are moving simultaneously, the Borgia's focus cannot be fully centered in one place. Moving on the banker, Ezio meets with the senator whom his sister spoke of, Egigio Trosk. Egigio Troche, something like that. Ezio provides him with the money he owes to the mysterious benefactor and tells him to the location at which the senator will pay off his debt. Ezio ends up at a lavish sexual party of which the banker is hosting. Ezio infiltrates the party and learns that this banker is indeed another Borgia family member, Juan Borgia. Our assassin kills him and escapes the area.
The things I have felt, seen, and tasted, I do not regret a moment of it.
A man of power must be contemptuous of delicacies.
But I gave the people what they wanted.
And now you pay for it. Il piacere immeritato si consuma da sé. Requiescat in pace.
With one phase of the plan taken care of, Ezio moves against the followers of Cesare and his top leadership. He meets up with Bartolomeo to get information on Octavian. After an attack on the mercenary compound by the Baron, it's revealed that Bartolomeo's wife has been taken hostage by the French.
As amusing as this parley has been, I'd like your unconditional surrender before sunrise.
Ha! My Lady Bianca will whisper it in your ear!
I believe another lady might object to that.
Mio marito vi ammazzerà tutti!
I'll kill you for tutto francese!
Ezio comes up with a plan to assault the French fortress in the area by donning their armor, bringing Bartolomeo to the French guards, and assaulting the compound from within. After accomplishing this, Ezio uses the battle to evade the Baron's personal guard and assassinate the French general.
I only wanted respect.
Respect is earned, not inherited or purchased.
Perhaps you are right. I need more time.
Che tu sia pari nella morte. Requiescat in pace.
With Cesare's funds cut and his French allies in disarray, Ezio decides to move against Lucrezia's lover, Pietro Rossi, in order to gain entrance into the Borgia's castle in Rome. Discussing this plan with La Volpe, he learns the thieves are already investigating into his whereabouts. Ezio heads out, but is stopped by the Fox, who, once again, wants to discuss his suspicions of Machiavelli's loyalty. Somehow, the Thieves Guild have been made known to the Borgia, who have begun an attack on the compound. The attack is repelled, but the mere shock of the event further intensifies La Volpe's suspicions of the Mentor, who was one of the only people even remotely capable of informing the Borgia of the Thieves' base of operations. Ezio and the Fox travel through the city to intercept Pietro and steal the key to the Borgia Castello. Before arriving to the area, La Volpe breaks off, no longer being able to handle the idea that their own leader is in league with the Borgia. He tells our assassin to deal with Machiavelli before he finishes the job himself.
Ezio, Machiavelli has betrayed us. We would both wish to deny it, but the truth is now clear. Do what needs to be done. If you don't, I will.
Without Volpe's thieves, I may require the help of my recruits.
Learning that the location of the next play he intends to perform in is unknown to the thieves, Ezio overhears Cesare Borgia commanding his right-hand man, Micheletto Corella I think, to go to the play and assassinate Pietro. It is assumed Cesare had learned of his sister's infidelity and plans to have the stage performer murdered as a result. During the play, Borgia's men will use a specific time to kill him and escape the area. The play is to be performed at the Colosseum, which has fallen in ruin in recent years. Ezio infiltrates the area, takes out the Borgia's guards, and replaces the actors with his fellow assassin recruits.
You cannot save Pietro. The wine he drank was poisoned. As I promised Cesare, I made doubly sure. I am not yet dead.
I did not come here to kill you. He who is the cause of someone else becoming powerful is the agent of his own destruction.
He attacks Micheletto, but spares his life, saying that his work to prop up the dominion of a tyrant will be his own destruction. Although the performer had been poisoned, Ezio carries him to a doctor in the area and heals him. He demands the key to the castle and retrieves it, but the victory is short-lived, as Ezio happened to recognize a passerby as one of his men in Monteriggioni.
Stop! Wait for us!
We thought you had been killed, Sir Ezio.
Not yet.
Where does this passage lead?
To the north, outside the walls.
Let me through. I must go help the troops.
Un momento! You were at the Villa Auditore during the attack!
Ezio pursues the stranger, and learns that not only was the man a traitor, but that he was the one providing the Templars with the information La Volpe assumed was given by their mentor.
You are the traitor, not Machiavelli.
Long live the Borgia!
Merda. I was right. I have to stop La Volpe before he gets to Machiavelli.
Realizing that the Fox is most likely moving against Machiavelli already, races to save his mentor's life just in time.
I have discovered the traitor.
What?
One of our men. He was at the villa attack. Here, he carried this letter.
My God.
This is good news.
More than you know.
I am once again in your debt, Ezio.
What debt is there amongst friends who trust one another?
Yes. Thank you for relaying the message in time. Come, Niccolo. It has been far too long since we've talked.
I heard the Colosseum Passion Play took an unexpected turn this evening.
Really?
It seems Jesu Christo was resurrected 3 days early.
With loose ends tied up, the French army disorganized, the Borgia's funding cut off, and the key to the Borgia Castello retrieved, Ezio calls the Order together to launch their attack against the Templar leadership and end the threat of regional tyranny once and for all. Before discussing the plan of attack, Claudia is inducted into the Assassin Order, and Machiavelli replaces himself as the mentor with our assassin. Ezio is now the leader, the mentor of the Assassin Order in Italy.
You and I have not seen eye to eye on many issues.
Niccolo!
But you are exactly what the Order needed. You have led the charge against the Templars and rebuilt this Brotherhood. Now, we must put Ezio where he belongs. At the head of the Assassins. Ezio Auditore da Firenze. You will now be known as Il Mentore, the guardian of our Order and our secrets.
Where other men blindly follow the truth, remember,
Nothing is true.
Where other men are limited by morality and law, remember, everything is permitted. Why this sudden change of heart?
I have always stood by you. I was the one who brought you to Roma, and the one who caused the explosion as you fled the Castello. The mercenari who protected you at Il Colosseo were mine as well. You just did not know it.
Maestro Machiavelli! Cesare has returned to Roma alone. He rides for the Castel Sant'Angelo.
Grazie.
Well?
The decision is yours, not mine.
Niccolo, you better not stop telling me what you think. Why else would I seek the opinion of my most trusted advisor?
Go kill them, Mentore. Finish what you started.
Good advice.
I intend to write a book about you one day.
If you do, make it short.
Ezio, despite becoming mentor, urges to move against the Borgias himself. Infiltrating their stronghold, he witnesses Cesare entering the castle to go talk to his father. Ezio uses the key he received from Pietro to gain access and continues traversing the compound. Climbing up the battlements, Ezio overhears a conversation between the Grand Master and his son.
What has happened here?
I do not know what you mean.
My funds, my troops, gone!
Financial difficulties strike all of us, even those with an army.
You intend to give me money?
No, I do not.
Then I will use the Peace of Eden to get what I want. Your help is not necessary.
That has been made abundantly clear to me. Are you aware that the Baron de Valois is dead?
No. Did you?
What reason could I possibly have to kill him? Was he plotting against me with my brilliant, traitorous Captain General?
I do not have to stand for this!
The assassins murdered him.
Why did you not stop them?
As if I could! It was not my decision to attack Monteriggioni. It was yours! It is high time you took responsibilities for your actions.
My accomplishments! Despite the constant interference of failures like you!
You are not going anywhere. I have the Peace of Eden.
Get out of my way, old man.
I gave you everything, and yet it's never enough.
Cesare! He intends to poison you!
You would not listen to reason.
Father, do you not see? I control all of this. If I want to live, I live. If I want to take, I take. If I want you to die, you die! Where is the Peace of Eden?
Stop! I know where it is!
And you did not tell me he had taken it?
Cesare, it's me, your queen.
You are my sister, nothing more. Where is it?
You never loved me?
Where is the apple? Tell me! Tell me!
Ezio approaches the Grandmaster's now lifeless body and pays his respects.
Requiescat in pace.
Lucrezia, recovering from the physical altercation she had, informs him of the apple's location in an act of defiance and revenge, and Ezio moves immediately to recover the piece of Eden. The assassin reaches the area and uncovers the apple, just in time for Cesare's entrance into the courtyard. Although Cesare himself is unable to attack due to the remnants of poison still lurking through his body, he sends his personal guards to take his enemy into custody. Ezio, however, refuses to allow the apple to fall into Templar hands anymore, and uses the apple to escape the area, forcing the guards to slay each other amid the illusionary power of the ancient artifact. A meeting is held in the assassin base of operations, and Ezio brings the members up to speed on the recent events. Rodrigo Borgia is dead, Cesare is poisoned but still alive, and the Brotherhood is once again in possession of the precious apple. Bartolomeo and Machiavelli both urge Ezio to take out Cesare while they have the upper hand, not wanting the now fatherless Templar to regroup his forces and rally more to his cause, as Micheletto has been amassing another army outside the city to assist Cesare. Following Cesare to a staging area his men are currently positioned in, Ezio enters the courtyard and attempts to assassinate him to end the threat, but fails to do so. Cesare once again escapes the area, presumably to reach Micheletto and his men before the assassins rid Rome of Templar influence. September 1503. Now that Cesare has fled the city, Claudia informs Ezio that a cardinal that frequents her brothel has revealed a meeting the Templar plans to attend, to rally his remaining supporters and take back the influence they have lost. Ezio leaves for the countryside to ambush the group.
Join me and I will take back Roma.
We have decided to elect Della Rovere to the papacy. We are sorry.
I paid for your appointment.
Roma is not the same as it once was. Borgia money has become tainted.
You will regret this decision!
Assassino! Run!
Hired men promise you their blood, but as soon as you need help, they turn against you.
Guards!
Upon entering the Colosseum, Ezio overhears a conversation taking place with current cardinals within the Catholic Church. The Templar urges them to continue their support of his family by granting him papacy, but the cardinals, having become disillusioned with the Borgias and disheartened by their waning influence, rebuke Cesare. They outline a plan to elect another to the position of pope and abandon Cesare and his family to the history books. After spotting Ezio, the Cardinals and the Templar flee the area, with Ezio once again failing to catch him. In December, Bartolomeo reveals to Ezio that his scouts have heard of a plan by Cesare to gather all of his supporters at Rome's main gate to take back the city. Realizing this is again another opportunity to take out the Templar, he informs the entire Brotherhood in Italy to converge on a location and confront the supporters. After a prolonged engagement between the Brotherhood and Cesare's remaining followers in the city, including Ezio again utilizing the power of the Apple of Eden, the order break through the Templar and demand him lay down his arms and abandon his plans. Just as his army approaches from behind, it's made known that Fabio Orsini was leading this army, and states that the newest pope, Pope Julius II, wants Cesare arrested and put in prison for a multitude of various crimes.
Throw down your arms, Cesare Borgia.
Micheletto's troops mass behind me. We will take back my city once and for all.
This is not your city anymore.
By order of Pope Julius II, I arrest you, Cesare Borgia, for the crimes of murder, betrayal, and incest.
No! 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 This is not how it ends! Chains will not hold me! I will not die by the hand of man!
Ezio meets with the now freed Leonardo and discusses with him the necessity of keeping the apple away from mankind, for it is too powerful to allow its use. Ezio mentions the words spoken by Cesare during his arrest, that chains will not hold me, and believes something is going to transpire soon that will reignite the entire conflict. He uses the Apple of Eden once more, and his caution is given credence.
And yet, what if he meant what he said? I cannot risk it.
Cesare was right. I have to leave.
Leonardo, confused about what had just occurred, says goodbye to Ezio as the assassin departs the city. Ezio learns that Cesare had escaped his imprisonment and had been working with his brother-in-law, John III of Navarre, in order to regain favor with the French. The assassin, after several years of traveling to various countries in his search, had finally tracked him down outside the city of Viana in Spain. The Templars' plan is to lay siege to the city in an effort to convince French royalty for loyalty and once again ally with France to further boost his army's numbers. After, he would once again take the Italian mainland and place its people under his heel. March 1507, Ezio enters the battlefield and confronts Cesare, who, once again, escapes the area and flees into the city itself. Ezio chases him up the battlements and finally puts an end to the Templar's life.
The throne was mine!
Wanting something does not make it your right.
What do you know?
That a true leader empowers the people he rules.
I will lead mankind into a new world.
Che nessuno ricordi il tuo nome. Requiescat in pace.
You cannot kill me! No man can murder me!
Then I leave you in the hands of fate.
Ezio travels to the Roman Colosseum, where the apple had revealed a hidden vault underneath its construction. He takes the apple deep into the caverns and places it on a pedestal, safe from harm and further use. Confident that Rome, and indeed Italy itself, is now safe from Templar influence, he exits the vault and allows time to take the piece of Eden out of man's memory.